Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand and welcome to a preview but also the latest Manchester United news. Welcome to Bertil, who's our latest member as well. But look, we've got lots to talk about. We have actually got a game. I thought this would be a very long week, from the game against Leicester, which was absolutely terrible, to the game against Everton this weekend, but it's flown by. Lots of managerial chat. We know Erik ten Hag's going to be our new manager. Erik ten Hag's going to be watching this weekend. I think some people misconstrue that and think that Erik ten Hag will be at the game. Of course he won't. Ajax are playing at 7 p.m. We're playing at 12:30. But he will be watching these games. He will have been watching previous games. But these players need to start reacting. We'll go through that in a moment. We'll also be talking about the Kalvin Phillips transfer rumour and why we're starting to believe that Erik ten Hag does want Kalvin Phillips. And also a story coming out that Erik ten Hag has spoken to Manchester United about his transfer targets. We'll talk about that and who we believe his assistant coach is going to be. So lots to get into in the show. As you know, it is a preview show as well for the Everton. Everton have lost 6 of their last 7 Premier League games. Did you know that? Did you know? But because it's the weekend, because it's a preview, the show is sponsored by Spitch, which you can download through the link in the video description. What is Spitch, I hear you say? Well, a lot of you are playing it already. It's a fancy football manager app that lets you build your own team to win points and take on other managers in the game. You can do this through the game or you can do it through our community as well. Both links are in the description. Spitch is based around weekly competition, so you don't have to worry that the season has already started. You can play individual weeks. This week I'm playing around the Premier League. My knowledge of the Premier League is, of course, absolutely fantastic. If yours isn't, then you can use the in-game analytics that Spitch has in it as well to help you pick your team. If you want to download Spitch and get yourself in with a shot of winning some awesome prizes this weekend, then hit the link in the description and get playing today. Also, make sure you join the United Stand community page on Spitch, as the person who gets the most points in the community this week will win themselves a £50 voucher to spend on anything on the United Stand store. What I'm wearing right now, which you'll see in a minute, is up for grabs. I've also placed links in the description to download Spitch and also join our community. Finally, I just want to say as well, a big congratulations to Tim Harvey, who won the last week's prize in the community game with a huge 3,200 points, totally smashing my 2,065 points. So if you want a chance to beat me and also the United Stand community, download Spitch, links in the video description. You've got to be over 18, but it is free to play and terms and conditions apply. Finally, we are capping the amount of United Stand merch prizes somebody can win. So, for example, Tim Harvey, even if he finishes top, he won't win it this week because he's won it once already. Links in the chat. Do give it a go. It's a lot of fun. You can play against me. You can win prizes in general, but you can also win prizes from us as well. So links in the chat for that. And of course, we've got the QR code. Hold your phone up, check it out, turn your camera on, hold it up to the QR code, and it will scan it for you as well. So good luck for that. Hi, Mark. Can we do a keep or sell list of the full squad that Erik ten Hag's style, says Nicholas. We could. I suppose we could. Welcome to the Members Club, Ahmad, and welcome, United Voice. He says, hi, Mark. Ten Hag will start from the next season or current one. Ten Hag will start from the next season or next season, mate. Next season. Legion says, happy birthday, Mark. The content gets better every year like fine wine. Big up United Stand. Thank you very much. I mean, just talking about signings, I want to talk about the Everton game and I want to talk about the lineup. And obviously, this is a must-win game for both teams. It's going to be a big game on Saturday lunchtime. But we're going to talk about this transfer news about Kalvin Phillips first of all. As I said, if you want to become a member, I've clicked the members, the links in the top of the chat. I think it's in the video description as well. We have just uploaded our very first exclusive content on the Members Club, and it's Anthony against Rashford. Really interesting video. If you want to check it out, become a member, click the join button, support the channel. You get your little badge next to your name, but we are putting exclusive content on there now. It takes nothing away from the channel. We're still doing 3 videos a day on here, morning, afternoon and evening, but we just can't get all these head-to-head things in. So we're doing some exclusive content. Really interesting. I'm on board for Anthony. One of the great things about the head-to-heads is it forces me to really deep dive on these players, and it's well worth a watch if you're a member. Make sure you check it out. If you want to become a member, click the members button. But Armin Sumar is a new member. Check that out, Armin. I'm all in on Anthony. I think he'd be a fantastic signing. I really hope we buy him. I also think it's really important to buy a player that knows Ten Hag. Imagine if we bought Anthony, right? First of all, he takes the right wing position. Second of all, he knows Ten Hag's system. Third of all, he's Brazilian, so he'll get on with people like Bruno, Ronaldo, Teles, Delo, Brazil, because that Fred, because of that connection. And it's somebody in the dressing room that Ten Hag feels familiar with. So, I mean, I don't know about Timber. I'm not 100% on Timber, but on Anthony, I definitely think it would be a really, really good idea. Welcome to the Members Club, Anuel, and to Dunny, and also to Ethan. Thank you very much. Do check that video out. But let's talk about Kalvin Phillips. So, this came out this morning from Manchester Evening News. I did mention it a little bit on the back end of the Paul Ince show. I just want to make it very clear, I'm not against Manchester United signing Kalvin Phillips. And I saw that the Manchester Evening News have basically clarified this. Samuel Luckhurst has come out and said that this is a target that Manchester United want. Erik ten Hag has got the option of vetoing it and saying no. But the fact that United are progressing the Kalvin Phillips deal and the fact that they have spoken to Erik ten Hag about transfer targets, that's something I wanted to bring in. ESPN, Samuel Luckhurst are saying that Manchester United have spoken to Erik ten Hag about transfer targets. Suggests that Kalvin Phillips may well be a player that Manchester United are looking at. We will not sign Kalvin Phillips and Declan Rice, is point one. That won't happen. We are not going to replicate Southgate's Euros midfield. We're not going to do that. If we can get Declan Rice, we won't go for Kalvin Phillips. If we don't get Declan Rice, maybe we'll go for Kalvin Phillips. Kalvin Phillips is 26. I've heard some people saying he's injury prone. He's not. He's had a bad hamstring injury this year. Before that, I think he's had one or two other injuries and he's 26. So he's not injury prone. The style of football that he's used to under Bielsa, this 1-for-1, the ability to take the ball in difficult positions and progress it, his high energy, tackle rate. There was even something I read that he fits in with what Rangnick would advise we go for, these players that want to make a step up, that are hungry. His age at 26, he's 27 in December, isn't necessarily a huge problem. I mean, look, we're not spending £100 million on a player that's going to be part of our future for the next 10 years. I think Kalvin Phillips probably comes in 2 or 3 years and we'd probably move him on. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think he could come in the short term with Premier League experience and really enhance our midfield. Look, you could bring Romu from Southampton into our midfield and he would massively improve it. So, look, I'm not against the idea of Kalvin Phillips. I wanted to do a poll to see what you think. Ollie, welcome to the Members Club. I didn't actually realise how good Ajax's defensive record is this season. 14 goals. Oh, it's fantastic, Rory, yeah. Happy birthday, says Snake Man. Welcome to the Members Club, Michael and Anish as well. So let's just run a quick poll here while we're live. Interactive. Would Kalvin Phillips, yes or no? We'll just call it that. Save the typing. Kalvin Phillips, yes or no? Let me know what you think in the chat there. Melp says, please no more McFred or Maguire this weekend. I can't take it anymore. Look, so yeah, just before we move on, obviously Manchester United are interested in Kalvin Phillips. I think you can take that to the bank. Also, we're getting this story that Manchester United have spoken to Erik ten Hag about his transfer targets, and maybe he quite likes the idea of Kalvin Phillips. I don't think we can be arrogant here. I think we're almost as bad as the ex-players saying let's get Pochettino because he's Premier League proven. It would be really remiss and ignorant of us to say there's no way that Erik ten Hag would want Kalvin Phillips because he's a British Premier League player. He may well have been looking at Kalvin Phillips for the last couple of years and really liked the profile of the player. So you don't know. I personally don't think he will go for Kalvin Phillips. That's my personal preference. I don't think Kalvin Phillips will be an Erik ten Hag pick. I think what's happened here is Manchester United have compiled a list of players they think we should be going for in the summer through their own scouts that they'll present to Erik ten Hag and he will have to say yes or no. If he says no, hopefully he's got better options as who we should go for. He might say yes because he doesn't have better options. I don't know how it's going to work. It doesn't mean we won't sign Kalvin Phillips. I doubt Erik ten Hag has turned up in an interview and gone, go and get Kalvin Phillips. I think United have scouted Kalvin Phillips and maybe Erik ten Hag will go along with it if he thinks he's the right sort of player. I wouldn't be over the moon with the signing, I'll be honest with you, but I wouldn't be sad. I mean, ultimately, choking on my tea, he's levels above Scott McTominay and Fred and Matic because Matic is nearly retired, McTominay can't do the role and Fred can't really do the role either. So I wouldn't mind the idea of Kalvin Phillips, to be honest with you. I suspect we can do a lot better for cheaper. He'll cost a lot of money. That's my big concern. The British tax bothers me a lot. What do you think Ten Hag's starting 11 be, including people we may sign in the summer, says Jack? Well, that's a video for the future, isn't it, Jack? It's hard to predict that at the moment. I'm only just digesting the fact that we've actually got him. Scott Armstrong, welcome to the Members Club. And we shouldn't be going for serial losers, especially if they're in their prime and have no trophies to show for it, says Andre. Obviously talking about Phillips there. Phillips is McFred personified, energetic like Fred, but prone to a yellow card like McTominay, says Mason Reed. I think that's unfair. Mason, I think that's unfair. I don't think Kalvin Phillips is McTominay and Fred personified. I think he's a player that played in a very, very unique style of football. Bielsa ball, whether you liked it or not, relied on individuality and the ability to look after your own man and be good on the ball. McTominay and Fred in a Bielsa system wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. So my concerns about Phillips are this, twofold. One, I think we can do better. Two, I think we can do better for cheaper. I think he's going to cost 60 million and he's not a 60 million pound player. What terrifies me about Kalvin Phillips, if I'm absolutely honest, is that he is another Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire sort of player where we overpay because he's British. I mean, his contract runs out in 2024, so he's not even. I mean, I think 2024 is interesting because it's 2 years away, and if they, I still think they'll want 60 million, and I just don't. This is what worries me about United, is that if you spent 60 million pounds on Phillips, you'd get somebody as good from France or Italy or Germany for 35 million, and that's what worries me about it. Is it a good? Whenever we buy British, it just concerns me that we overpay, and that's what worries me. And look, Stone makes a good point as well. What about Ghana? Look, we mentioned a player Lamer yesterday. I wouldn't mind us going for him, to be honest, but he's not a CDM, whereas Phillips is. But it's interesting though, because as that formation sits next to me there, I don't see why we have to play one holding midfielder. Ajax don't play one holding midfielder; they play two. If you can even call them holding midfielders. We have become obsessed with playing one holding midfielder. Why do we have to play one holding midfielder? In fact, against Everton at the weekend, I wouldn't play a holding midfielder. I'd play a two. I'd play Pogba and Fred. I wouldn't play one holding midfielder. So maybe that's what we do. I certainly don't. I think Phillips could play the role on his own, but as we've seen for England, he sits there with Rice and he's more energetic. So maybe England want to pay. Maybe we should just get Southgate in charge. We pick Maguire every bloody week and we buy Rice and Phillips. But no, look, I want to see an energetic midfield too, and we keep hearing about that. So hopefully Man United would do that. I don't mind James Ward-Prowse, but again, you'd have to pay 60 million for James Ward-Prowse, and that's the problem. If as soon as they've got an England cap, you're paying 20-30 million pounds more than you should be. So I wouldn't go for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if we went for him. Interestingly, in the poll, it's quite split. 53% of you said you would go for Kalvin Phillips, and 40% of you said you would. 47% said you wouldn't. So a bit of a split there. I would say. Scott Armstrong, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you for joining. Remember that exclusive content we've uploaded for you today. Literally only went up half an hour ago. Rashford against Anthony. It's a very interesting watch if you remember. If you want to become a member, click the join button. Right, let's go on to the game against Everton at the weekend. The return of Ronaldo, and Erik ten Hag is watching. I actually was speaking to somebody about this earlier, and I said, Erik ten Hag will be watching at the weekend. These players better be ready for it. And they were like, no, he won't. I went, oh, What? New Manchester United manager is not going to watch the game. The players know Ten Hag is watching. We're feeling more excited. The players have to start bloody responding now. I'm not saying they're going to get top four, but Everton have lost 6 of their last 7 games. 6 of their last 7 they've lost. They're averaging 2 goals a game conceded. We've got to go to Everton and win. They're not a very good side. They're absolutely panicking that they're going to lose the job. They're going to go down to the Championship. They are vulnerable. We need to go and act like a big club at Goodison Park on Saturday lunchtime. If we go there tentative and allow them to build confidence, we'll get turned over. They are panicking. They are really panicking. Like John Terry in a spelling test, they're panicking, and we need to go there and infiltrate them. That sounds wrong. And basically put them on the back foot. And I think we will do. I think United... It's hilarious how people go in on Ronaldo, because United without Ronaldo, he's missed 9 games this season and we've only won 1. United with Ronaldo, United without Ronaldo, we are so much better with him. I mean, look, Bruno, he's a good player, but we didn't win last week. Ronaldo for me is the player that takes us from a team that's capable of losing a game to being a team that can win a game. Hi Mark, it's my birthday. I wish would mean a lot, says Jay. Happy birthday. It's also mine, so you share it with me. Well done. Welcome to the Members Club, Seb and Ivan. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to check that video out. So Look, Ronaldo back in this game is massive. Everton's defence is poor. That's my predicted 11, and I don't massively disagree with it. Obviously, De Gea will be in goal. Delo's got to be at right back. Varane and Maguire. I would have dropped Maguire loads of times. If you're asking me personally, I would drop him, but he didn't play particularly bad last week, so there's no way he will be dropped. So, Luke Shaw went off injured last week. I'm sure he's probably fit, but I probably would pick Telles anyway. I wouldn't play a holding midfielder. I think it's too risky. Scott McTominay was dreadful last week. You can't keep rewarding people with starting places when they put in a performance like that. There has to be some accountability. So McTominay has to be dropped for the Everton game. He was absolutely dreadful. Dreadful against Leicester. He doesn't deserve to start. So if you're not starting him, I wouldn't start Matic. I'd actually play a midfield too. I thought when McTominay came off, we were better. And there was a period when McTominay was off and Matic wasn't on. And that was Fred and Pogba. So I would go Fred and Pogba as a midfield too. Everton aren't going to lay siege on our goal. We need to attack them. So I would go Fred and Pogba. I'd play a higher line. Obviously, Bruno would be ahead of them. Sancho to the left. Ronaldo up front. And then on the right-hand side, look, I totally agree. Does he deserve to start or not? I don't know. But Alanga is a young lad, and I don't think we can just keep starting him. If there was anybody else we could put on the right-hand side, and I'm open to the fact that you could put Bruno on the right and maybe play, I don't know. I just think Rashford will start and probably should start because ultimately we've got slim pickings, and that's how I would line up, and I expect us to win. Carol J, welcome to the members club. Happy 50th, Mark, says Harris, you cheeky shit. Happy birthday, Mark. Have an awesome one and keep up the good content, says below. And we're so inconsistent, we're due a win, says Daniel Kirk. Thank you very much for that, Daniel, with your super chat. We have to win at the weekend. We had to beat Leicester. But the interesting thing is, we've got Everton at home this weekend, then we've got Norwich, and then we've got that double header midweek and weekend where we play Liverpool and Arsenal. We could lose both of those games. We have to get some points on the board. We have to beat Everton. Look, Everton, a glimpse. Everton have won 6 at home, lost 7 at home, and drawn 1. They don't draw games very often. They've got a horrible run in. They're 1 point off relegation, and they're in big trouble. Of course they are. But that's not our concern. Our concern is, as I said this morning, we've got to try and stay in the race for top 4, even though I don't think we can do it. But we've certainly got to get Europa League football, because that will be really important to people such as Erik ten Hag. He needs Europa League football because, 1, if you win it, it's a way into the Champions League. 2, it's more games for him to try things out. I think the Europa League is a bad thing, but that bad thing can't be a thing for Erik ten Hag. Happy birthday, Mark. Have a great day, says Andy and Bruno. Thank you. And also, but you know what I mean? Like, when I think about the Europa League, I want to cry. I think no more Thursday nights off. But what I also think is that if we end up in the Europa League, it's exclusively Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault and the club's fault. And therefore, if we are in the Europa League, that to Erik ten Hag is far better than being in nothing. I know some of our fans would like us to finish in 8th, but think about it, right? You're in the Europa League, that's another way into the Champions League. But also, it's massive for Erik ten Hag next season because, look, let's be honest, if we're in the Europa League next year, you've got your Premier League games at the weekend, and then on a Thursday night, you're going to be playing Astana or something like that. Well, what a great opportunity for Erik ten Hag to say, right, I'm going to try this midfield combo. I'm going to try this centre-back combo. He needs games next season. And actually, being in the Champions League probably puts him up. We don't deserve to be in it anyway. So I think the Europa League, everyone will laugh at us. Aha, you're playing Thursday night football. But it might be really beneficial for us because the quality in the Europa League group stage won't be that good. And it will allow us to play more games to get used to his system. But it also allows him to not rotate, but try out different things. So if we've got a new striker or we've got a new winger, or we've got a player that needs some games to see if they're good enough. I just think it would be massively beneficial for us. We've got to get Europa League football at least. And in that quest, we've got to try and hang in for the Champions League spot, which I don't think we'll get. So the Everton game is a must-win for United. And I think that the announcement, the unofficial announcement of Erik ten Hag has given everybody a boost. A couple of days ago, we're like, oh, we're going to get bloody Poch, aren't we? You know, a few days before that, the players are playing a testimonial against Leicester. I think it's a shame this didn't come out before the Leicester game, because I think we would have played better. But I'm expecting a better United on Saturday for two reasons. One, we know who the manager's going to be and there's a positivity around the fan base again. Two, Cristiano Ronaldo is back. But have no qualms about this. Everton are up for it. They have to win this game. They're 1 point off relegation. They've got to play us, Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. They are in big trouble. You can't see where Everton's next 3 points are coming from, and it can't be coming from us because we need them. Jo, thank you. Welcome to the Members Club. Do you think Ten Hag will see McTominay like the golden boy every manager has, or will he see through his right attitude and drop him indefinitely, says Triggered Salt. Brad, welcome to the Members Club. Well, let me just wrap up on the Everton, and I will come back to that point about McTominay and other players. So that's how I think we'll line up. I wouldn't pick McTominay. I wouldn't pick Matic. Let's just keep it to a midfield two and play on the front foot. I think that's really important. And I predict that we'll win this game. We will win this game if we turn up. If we play like we did against Leicester, we won't win. If we turn up with the excitement, enthusiasm and determination that the fan base has shown in the last 24 hours since Ten Hag got the job, we will be fine. There will be players in that team who are, I wanted Poch. Well, you know where the door is. Rangnick was very supportive of Erik ten Hag. He didn't actually have a big say in the interviews, but he was consulted and he said Erik ten Hag. The club have chosen Erik ten Hag. He is the manager. If you're bumping your gums as a player and you don't like it, do one. If you want to be part of this future, get on with it. And that's what we want to see at the weekend. Dion, welcome to the Members Club. And Archon, welcome to the United Stand Members Club as well. I'm going to say Man United will win this 2-0. Saturday lunchtime kickoff, you never know. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a big atmosphere, but we need to deliver. I think Pogba's the only risk. Pogba and Rashford are the two risks in that team. But I think we need to go and win. And if we win against Everton, a home game against Norwich, you'd hope we boost our goal difference a little bit, but we get 6 points. And then you go into Liverpool and Arsenal, and maybe we can get a win out of one of those. And suddenly you're looking at the table and going, whoa, you know what? We're hanging in there if anyone slips up for fourth place, but we've solidified that fifth or sixth spot. Welcome to the Members Club Montana. Thank you very much for joining. And so look, that's where we're at. Ten Hag is likely to be announced after the Dutch League and Cup final have been decided out of respect for Ajax. That's coming from Manchester Evening News. Yes, the Dutch... the way the Dutch League looks at the moment, and correct me if I'm wrong here, there's a couple of questions I just want to answer here. We'll come back to that McTominay one. There's a couple of questions I want to answer here. Who do I think will be the assistant coach for Manchester United? When do you think the official announcement will be? Well, as OTB says, the Dutch Cup final is on the 17th. It's a week on Sunday. I think it's a 5 o'clock kickoff. And they are currently 4 points ahead of PSV in the league. I don't think, the cup final will be over a week on Sunday. I don't think the Dutch title will be done until the back end of April. So official announcement. Well, I said this last night. Didn't I? Many of you said it as well. I don't think we probably will announce it until Ajax have won something. That's the only reason it's not been announced. It's respect from our side and also Ten Hag's side. But do you really care about the official announcement? Is it really keeping you up at night? Because I'm not. I'm chill. I'm absolutely fine. Call me the fridge because I'm chilling. I'm not Harry Maguire. But I am. I'm chilling out. I'm not bothered. I'm really not bothered. Face bothered. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered because ultimately, we discussed this in the international break as well. The likelihood of him being officially announced in the international break was probably quite slim in hindsight. But what we wanted to know was who the manager's going to be. And what we know now is the manager's going to be Erik ten Hag. It's just got to be announced officially. But obviously, we've had this with transfers over the years. You'll go, a deal's done. Well, it's not done, Mark, until it's official. Look, if you want to cross the I's and dot the T's and all that, that's up to you. But every journalist I see is basically telling me Ten Hag's the manager without telling me Ten Hag's the manager. Like, even the Manchester Evening News are talking about Ten Hag's been talking about targets. He is the manager of Manchester United. Like, I can't give you the names of some people who've said it, but you don't even need those names because you can see it anyway. He is the manager of Manchester United for next season. And when we announce it officially, I don't care, because he is the manager of Manchester United next season. And I'm very relaxed about that. And we just need to... We've still got a season... I suppose we've still got a season to finish, haven't we? We're still Ralf Rangnick, interim manager. We're still trying to finish somewhere decent in the league. So Erik Ten Hag being our manager for next season just gives us that peace of mind that we can relax a little bit and now focus on the short term as well as the long term. Good sign from the board. They didn't consult the players when Ralph was appointed and clearly ignored players who have wanted Poch, says Dan. Yeah, I mean, there's a good point there from Dan as well. Montana, welcome to the Members Club. 60, wow, what a number I can say. Sue, happy birthday, says Ralph. 60. I don't look a day over 25. That's the scary thing. But yeah, you're right. I don't really have a lot of interest in how the manager was appointed, but I would repeat what was said there. There was a lot of United players that were not overawed when we brought Ralf Rangnick in. They were like, who is this? But that just shows you the ignorance of these footballers. A lot of footballers aren't that clever. They're very good with their feet, but they're not very good with their head. They don't watch the football you watch. Do you think there's many Man United players that go home on an evening, spend all their day on Twitter reading about transfers and everything, and then watch loads of European football and analyse things? No, they're already living the dream. Their bank balances are done. They're set for life. They love their football, but they're not deep thinkers on their football. Not many of them. So they weren't. Some of them weren't impressed with Ralf Rangnick, and some of them aren't impressed with Erik Ten Hag. Don't care. Do your job. You're paid to do a job. You're not the manager of Man United. You're paid to play for Man United. And if you don't do it well, you can get out the door. Not interested in what you think. Not interested. Not interested. And, you know, in many ways, the club have just ignored those opinions exactly as they should have done. So, yeah, look, it's a good thing. Who do I think will be the next... Manchester United assistant coach? This is something that's obviously gathering a lot of momentum and a lot of people are excited about. I suppose the four main names I've seen mentioned are Robin van Persie, Jaap Stam, Steve McLaren and Rennie Mullenstein. I think it should be Paul Ince. He's done a great job at Reading. I think it'd be hilarious. I'd love Paul Ince to get the job. I'll tell you what, he could learn Dutch in a couple of weeks. Get Ince the job. And the thing is, people will laugh about that, but I guarantee people will go, wow, let's give it to Gary or something like that, or Scholesy. But Paul Ince is actually doing a job at Reading. Like, he's kept them up. He's doing a really good job. I'm not saying he should be the assistant coach. I'm just saying that anyone who laughs at it, he actually has done a good job. But on serious terms, Rennie Mullenstein seems to be the number one. I don't mind. I actually think... you know me, sometimes I'll go with the obvious choice, but sometimes I'll go with the left field choice. I actually quite like the idea of Van Persie. I really do. He's been at the club more recent than any of those candidates. And yeah, I think Van Persie would be interesting. He's a young coach. Ten Hag is 52. So I think actually somebody younger than Ten Hag probably works better. Ten Hag's got a lot of experience. People are saying he's inexperienced. He's actually got a lot of experience in football. I think if you bring an older coach in as his assistant, does that undermine Ten Hag a little bit? He has to be the man. So McLaren's, I think, in his 60s. I imagine Mullenstein is as well. I think it might work better bringing in a younger, hungrier, fresher coach as an assistant. So I'd probably lean towards more the Jaap Stam or the... actually, Jaap Stam must be about 52 by now, actually. I think Van Persie's the one that jumps out to me, and I'm probably in the minority there. Still concerned because these prats on the board still have to agree to his terms. Could still this be a ploy to break down with Ten Hag and go with Poch? AJ, I would not worry about that. I don't think you need to worry about that at all. Nick P says, the Ten Hag appointment is so pure, I almost want everyone to keep quiet about what transfer suggestions they want. Just hand him the keys and trust him. I'm on the same page as you, Nick. I mean, a lot of people getting very excited about who the assistant coach should be, who we should sign, who we're going to talk about in a minute. But I don't care. I would even go as far as to say, if he says that he doesn't want De Gea in goal and wants to buy another goalkeeper, I wouldn't lose any sleep about it. Because I think if you're all in with a manager, you're all in. And to be all in, you've basically got to be, look, he could sell Ronaldo. He could sell Bruno. He could put Maguire up front. If he thinks it works, let's give him a chance. Needs to be Rennie, excellent assistant, huge credibility in developing players like Ronaldo. Will have the respect. Let's just run a poll on this because I'm interested as well. We did get asked a question about McTominay and others, which I want to answer. And also I want to talk a little bit about transfers as well. So Rennie, Mullenstein, McLaren. I'm doing this on the hop here, so bear with me. Stam and RVP. So Rennie Mullenstein, Steve McLaren, Jaap Stam and Van Persie as assistant coach. Let me know what you think in the chat there. And if you want to become a member, you can do that, which we'll talk about in a moment. But look, I think with regards to the assistant coach, we'll just have to wait and see. In relation to players and their futures at Manchester United, welcome to the members club, David. Look, it makes me laugh. As I said, you will get these prats who will go, oh, Goldbridge will be saying Ten Hag out by October. No, I won't. I've never been like that as a fan, so I don't know what you're bloody on about. I've always been patient with all managers, so stick that in your pipe and smoke it. But I also haven't said, that's the end of McTominay and Maguire, they're out, they're never going to work out. I would never say that, because a lot of people thought, well, Rangnick won't pick Maguire, Rangnick won't pick McTominay, and he did. And if Rangnick can do it, Ten Hag can do it. I don't think there's any guarantee. I mean, one thing about McTominay is Mourinho, Ollie, now Rangnick, he's always starting games. He's mostly playing crap in those games, but he still starts games, so he must do something right in training or something. So I wouldn't say he's going to be out on his arse. I wouldn't say Maguire's going to be out on his arse, or Rashford, or Bruno, or anybody. I think one of the big things for me, and Rangnick's not had long enough. As an interim, you're never going to be able to do it halfway through a season. The one word that I'm looking for is development. These players have not been developed for the last 3 years. They're now going to get developed in one of the best ways of playing football in the modern game. Erik Ten Hag's Ajax system is one of the best attacking and exciting systems in the modern game. And he's going to be doing his best to try and replicate that here, which means development for our players. What if Fred suddenly becomes one of the best midfielders in the Premier League because he gets coached properly? You just don't know. So I'm not writing any player off. I think you could say that player's going to struggle. I certainly think Wan-Bissaka is a player that I'd be worried about in this system. I really would, because I just don't think he fits what Erik Ten Hag would look for. But equally, I could say Bruno worries me. He doesn't keep hold of the ball quick enough. He's always looking for a killer pass. Rashford worries me because he's not very creative. Maguire worries me because I don't think he's capable of playing like a centre-back where you've got to cover the flanks and be left on your own. But it doesn't mean it won't work, and it doesn't mean that they can't be developed. So we'll have to just wait and see. Chris Smith, welcome to the Members Club. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you smash a like on the video. We have got an 8 o'clock show for you tonight. In relation to recruitment, a lot of people are talking about this. It's all hypothetical. There will be people who will go, we're going to buy this player, that player, and this player. No, we're not. I've heard today that Ten Hag's Man United dream list is Harry Kane, Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. What's wrong with our scouts? Haven't they got passports then? Kalvin Phillips as well. Why is every player we're being linked to an expensive English international? There's not even any logic to it. Like, the Premier League has been diverse in relation to it's not English centric for over 20 years. Why is it Man United are always linked to overpriced English internationals? And that's all I've seen this morning. Bellingham, who's not leaving Dortmund, by the way, Phillips, Rice and Kane. That tells me everything I need to know. these journalists and people talking about it haven't got a bloody clue. Because it's just lazy. Oh, it's Rice, Phillips and it's Kane. Why would we sign 3 England internationals? And why would we overpay on 3 England internationals? And why would we buy 3 English players when France is open, Germany's open? So I don't think anybody's got a bloody Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo! They haven't got a Scooby-Doo who we're going to sign. And I haven't got a Scooby-Doo either. So I think it's just a time where people will speculate and think about what they want. But I don't think anybody really knows. Kalvin Phillips sounds interesting. Declan Rice, I think, is... that'd be a good signing, but I just can't see it. And Harry Kane, I just think he's too expensive. He's world class, but I just think he's too expensive for what we're trying to do. Aid, thank you for becoming a member. And Goldbridge for assistant manager, who's with me, says, are you? There's a lot of people who wouldn't be with you, trust you. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. But look, if you want me to give an opinion on who we should be signing, I'm encouraged that we're looking for a couple of midfielders. Personally, I think we might only need one, because if you bring back Donny van der Beek and Paul Pogba leaves, that leaves you with Van der Beek, Fred, McTominay, Bruno. You maybe bring Garner back and you sign a midfielder, and you've got a good pool of midfielders there. But if we buy 2, we buy 2. I'm not going to say, if we get 2 midfielders, I'm more than happy. So I'm encouraged that that's where we seem to be looking. Obviously, we know we've got to bring a younger striker in. That's correct. And I would like to see a centre-back and a right-sided player as well. I think we need to try and buy as many of these positions as we can. And I think we do need a centre-back. I think Eric Bailly will push for a move. And we miss a certain profile of a centre-back. I don't think Lindelof and Maguire next to Varane, who can pick up injuries, fills me with confidence. So I think we need to buy a centre-back. Midfield, obviously, young striker. And I desperately think we need to buy a right-sided player. Folly, thank you very much for becoming a member. Which reminds me, actually, that fits quite nicely as well. Shub says, Anthony, please. We've been doing our heads-to-heads on the channel over the last few weeks. We've done like McTominay, Fred, Ronaldo, Cavani, and the fullbacks and everything like that. And we've just put up a video, Yazan, welcome to the Members Club, which is Rashford against Anthony. Now, this is exclusive for our Members Club. You don't have to watch it. If you're a member, please do check it out. If you want to become a member, click the Join Members button on the bottom, or you can go through the video description, or it's pinned in the live chat at the moment. But the reason we've put it on there is because we want to carry on doing head-to-heads, and it was voted for by our members on the community tab. But look, if you watch the video, you'll see the comparison between Rashford and Anthony and the detail to it. But he is a player that I've just not really taken much notice of. I know he's a good player, but there's a lot of... Again, I can't take any credit for this. I've heard many of you talking about Anthony for a long time, even before we were heavily linked to Ten Hag. And I'm interested. I think I'm definitely interested. I think he is a goal scorer. He will take a shot, but his creativity is key. And look, even Mason Greenwood before Rashford, so let's not just make it all about Rashford. Alanga's very young as well. They don't offer creativity. They're wide forwards. And we need creativity in that team. And I think someone like Anthony would be very, very, very interesting. So, look, I hope that we are going to look at that, because I certainly think it's a deal that we can do. And I certainly think it's a deal that Erik ten Hag would want to do. And it's certainly an area that we need to improve on. And look at my team predicted for Everton as well. It's not just about buying Anthony. It's about the fact that we're playing Everton at the weekend and I've put Marcus Rashford back in. He doesn't deserve to be in. He's been terrible. But who else can I play on the right unless I put a young lad like Alanga there? We actually haven't got anybody who can play there. So that problem will exist next season. And that's what you've got. When you look at that team there, you've got to look at next season. All right, well, I buy a midfielder, I haven't got to pick McTominay anymore. I buy a striker, and if Ronaldo's out, we've got a striker. But who's playing on the right wing next season? It can't just be Rashford unopposed, especially when anybody who opposes him is basically the same profile of player. We need a creative off that right-hand side. I think if you take Rashford out of that team and you put Anthony in it, straight away it looks a lot better. Now add a couple of midfielders in, it's getting better, man. It's getting better. Welcome to Members Club Yazan, and also to Philip Burton as well. So yeah, look, I think we'll beat Everton at the weekend. I think we have to beat Everton at the weekend. And I think we have to see a reaction from these players that is just totally and utterly the opposite of what we saw last week against Leicester, which, let's be honest, was absolutely disgusting. And hopefully the players will have the same reaction to the managerial appointment as us. There seems to be a bit of momentum now. There's a bit of excitement. There's a bit of purpose. Because last weekend against Leicester, it was flat. It was like a testimonial. They were dithering. They had no ideas. And I think now that hopefully they're feeling what we're feeling. In relation to the assistant coach, it's quite interesting. 21% for Rennie Mullenstein, 21% for McLaren, 14% for Stam, and 44% for Robin van Persie. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I saw another poll today where Mullenstein was the winner with 40% and everyone else had about 20%. But on here, Van Persie has got 44% of your vote. I would go Van Persie. I think that Ten Hag, with somebody younger under him, who knows the club, who's played at the very highest level and knows the Premier League, obviously from playing for Arsenal and Manchester United and having won a Premier League, also having lots of European experience, and being Dutch, I think Van Persie would be very interesting. But I don't know whether they're going to do that or not. I don't know. Please smash a like on the video. Do not forget to play Spitch. The link is in the chat. It's free to play. You can win by playing in the United Stand community. And you can also win by playing in the other way as well. Check the links in the description. It's free to play. Lots of fun. You don't need to have played any other week because you can just play from fresh and your points are start again. Mark, would you be ready to be patient for 4 or 5 years as Ten Hag? The board would love that, says Ash. Look, I'm not going to wait for 4 or 5 years. I'll put my hands on my heart and say that. I don't think anyone's going to wait for 4 or 5 years. But as long as we see progression, I'm certainly willing to wait a couple of years and see what happens, because I think next season could be crap. It really could. 8 o'clock tonight for United Stand. I am going to be on Twitch in a bit. I don't know whether I'm doing TUSFC or I might just do a FIFA draft, because I don't normally do it on a Thursday, but I'm just going to jump on Twitch because it's my birthday and no one's home yet. So I thought, I'll spend an hour with you lot on Twitch and might play a bit of Fall Guys. It's my birthday. Might play a bit of Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to play Fall Guys. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video. Please do check out Spitch. It's a great game. And also, don't forget, Anthony versus Rashford. If you are a member of the channel, watch the video because it's for you. Exclusive content for our members. Rashford against Anthony. It's only a 10-minute video. Thanks for supporting the channel if you are a member. And we're going to start doing a lot more of these. You voted for Rashford versus Anthony. Check it out. It will be on the homepage, or just go to the community members part. And if you want to become a member and support the channel and watch that video as well and get your little badge in the chat, click the members button, join, or do it through the chat or through the video description. Thanks everyone for watching. Big shout out to everyone, and we'll be back at 8 o'clock. And yeah, if you are a member, don't forget to check the head-to-head out. You'll really enjoy it. Team Anthony. And thanks for all the birthday messages.